something is missing, and nothing has moved yet. The Earth is still where it was a moment ago. The sun holds its place in the sky. No violent shift, no tearing, no sound. Just a quiet that feels wrong, as if a motion that should be happening is no longer there. The planet has stopped, but not in the way anything ever stops. There is no ground to press against, no air to resist, nothing to slow it. And yet something has been taken away. A sideways drift that never felt like motion in the first place. It is gone now. For an instant, everything looks unchanged. But the stillness is not rest. That missing motion does not leave a gap you can see right away. It leaves a condition that can no longer hold. The Earth is still under the sun's pull, exactly as it always has been. Gravity has not weakened, not shifted, not changed its direction. It continues, steady and silent, reaching inward. What has changed is the balance that kept that pull from deciding everything. And it does not take long before that imbalance begins to show itself, not as a single event, but as something that starts to unfold, quietly at first, then with less and less room to remain unnoticed. The Earth has always been falling. That is not something you feel. There is no sensation of dropping, no rush of air, no downward pull that grows stronger with time. The ground does not slip away beneath your feet. The sky does not rise. And yet, every second, the planet leans inward toward the sun, drawn by a force that does not pause. It has been doing this for as long as the system has existed. But the fall never completes, because something else has always been happening at the same time. A motion that does not push away from the sun, not directly, not like an escape. It moves across, sideways, continuously, at a speed that never quite feels like speed, because there is nothing nearby to compare it to. No wind, no friction, no sense of passing through anything. The Earth is always missing the sun. It falls inward, but by the time gravity pulls it closer, it has already moved to the side. Not far enough to leave, not slow enough to be captured. Just enough to keep the fall going without ever arriving. From here, from the surface, none of this announces itself. The sun rises and sets, seasons turn, shadows shift across the ground. The motion is hidden inside repetition. It feels like stability. It feels like rest. But that rest depends on something that never stops. Now that sideways motion is gone. At first, the absence does not look like anything. The sun still hangs in the sky. The horizon does not tilt. Oceans do not surge in any obvious direction. You can stand still and feel no difference in your body. No sudden lurch, no change in weight. Gravity is still there, exactly as before, which makes the next part feel almost too simple. Without that sideways movement, there is nothing left to keep the fall from completing. The Earth is no longer missing the sun. It has stopped stepping around it. So it begins to drop. Not dramatically, not all at once. There is no visible plunge in the first moments, no clear line that says, now it has started. The change is quieter than that, a shift in direction that has always been there, but is no longer being countered. The planet starts to move inward. It feels like the answer has arrived. Remove the motion that keeps something in orbit, and it falls. That fits. It holds together. Gravity pulls. Motion resists. Take one away, and the other takes over. Clean, direct. And for a short while, everything seems to follow that idea. The Earth is falling toward the sun. But something in that picture sits a little too neatly. The inward motion gathers itself slowly, almost reluctantly, as if the planet needs time to remember how to fall without missing. At first, nothing dramatic cuts across the sky. The sun does not rush closer in a visible leap. days do not collapse into minutes. Instead, there is a quiet shift in alignment. The direction that gravity has always pointed now begins to matter in a new way. It is no longer being sidestepped. The Earth starts to follow that line. If you could step outside the planet and watch from a distance, the change would look simple. A curved path straightens into something more direct. The long, continuous arc around the sun gives way to a descent. Not a spiral yet, not a collapse, just a steady inward drift that gains clarity with time. And it feels complete. Gravity pulls inward. Without sideways motion, nothing diverts that pull. The Earth moves toward the sun. That is what falling means here. Back on the surface, the signs arrive more slowly. The length of a year, if you could measure it, would begin to shrink. The sun would linger in slightly different positions, not enough to alarm, but enough to suggest that the pattern is no longer repeating in the same way. Seasons would begin to compress, though not abruptly. A winter that ends a little sooner than expected, a summer that arrives slightly out of place. It still feels orderly. You could live through the early part of this and believe the system has simply adjusted, that something has shifted, but within rules that still hold. The sun is still the center. The Earth is still bound to it. The path is just different. And the explanation holds steady. Take away the sideways motion, and the Earth falls inward. There is nothing left to oppose gravity, no hidden force waiting to intervene, no sudden complication. Just a change in direction that leads closer and closer to the source of the pull. Even the increase in speed fits neatly into that picture. As the Earth moves inward, gravity grows stronger. The fall accelerates. The approach becomes more pronounced. The sun slowly occupies more of the sky, though so gradually that no single moment marks the change. Everything aligns with expectation. And that is what makes it easy to settle into this idea. It answers the question without resistance. It explains the movement without leaving gaps. The Earth is falling toward the sun, and the process is already underway. But the fall is not happening in empty space. The Earth is not a point moving along a line. It carries oceans, air, heat, rotation. It exists inside a web of forces that have been balanced just as carefully as its orbit. And those balances have not been asked for yet. The inward motion continues, but it does not stay clean for long. The Earth is not sliding through space as a quiet object. It spins. It carries an atmosphere that moves with it. It holds oceans that respond to every shift in force, even the ones too small to notice at first. And as the direction of movement changes, those internal motions do not simply follow along. They hesitate. The ground beneath your feet still turns from west to east, just as it always has. That rotation was never part of the orbit. It does not stop when the sideways motion disappears. So now there are two movements unfolding at once. The planet rotating as before, while the entire body begins to drift inward. For a time, they coexist without conflict. Then, the strain begins to show. Air that once circulated under stable conditions starts to shift unevenly. Winds that followed predictable paths begin to stretch and bend. Not violently at first, but with a growing inconsistency. Patterns that used to repeat now arrive slightly displaced, as if the system is trying to match a rhythm that no longer fits. The oceans respond more slowly, but they respond. Water has weight. It resists sudden change, but as the inward pull strengthens, the balance between gravitational forces begins to tilt. Tides, which once rose and fell under a steady influence, start to lean in a direction that does not reverse cleanly. The water does not simply move back and forth anymore. It begins to gather. From the surface, you might notice something small. A coastline that looks subtly different, a current that drifts longer than expected before turning. These are not catastrophic signs. They do not announce what is happening. They accumulate. And still, the central idea feels intact. The Earth is falling toward the Sun. Everything else can be treated as side effects. Complications, yes, but not contradictions. The main path remains clear. The Sun grows fractionally larger. The time between familiar celestial positions shortens. The inward motion continues to align with what gravity would demand. It is still easy to believe that this is the whole story. But the inward pull is not acting on a rigid object. It is acting on something layered, uneven, and in motion within itself. The pull does not arrive uniformly. It presses more strongly on one side of the planet than the other, even if the difference is slight. That difference begins to matter. The side facing the Sun feels a stronger attraction than the side facing away. The distance is not the same across the entire body. It never was, but the orbit used to smooth that out. Now there is no smoothing motion, no continuous redirection to distribute the effect. The planet begins to stretch. Not in a way you would see immediately, but in a way that changes how forces move through it. The oceans fill it first, rising unevenly. The atmosphere follows, adjusting its flow in response to subtle gradients that were once averaged out over time. The Earth is no longer just falling. It is being pulled unevenly as it falls. And that difference does not stay small. The idea of a simple inward descent begins to thin, though it has not broken yet. It still holds the center. Gravity pulls, the Earth approaches, the distance closes. But now there is a second layer, quieter, more difficult to track. The fall is not happening evenly across the planet. And once that unevenness begins, it does not reverse. The inward fall continues, but something about it no longer lines up. The Earth is closer now. The Sun fills more of the sky. Not dramatically, but enough that the difference can be noticed without measuring. The warmth begins to shift in places where it used to remain steady. Patterns that once cycled with precision start to drift out of alignment. And still, the idea of falling holds. Gravity pulls harder as distance closes. The Earth accelerates inward. That is what should happen. That is what has been happening. The path seems inevitable. But the motion that was removed did not simply vanish without cost. The sideways movement the Earth once carried was not just direction. It was energy, an enormous amount of it, held in motion, spread across the entire mass of the planet. It was the reason the fall never completed. Now it is gone. And the absence of that energy does not leave the system unchanged. It does not wait quietly while gravity takes over. It has already altered the conditions under which the Earth exists. The planet is not falling from the same state it once had. For a moment, it is tempting to keep the picture intact, to say that the energy has simply been removed and now the Earth follows a new path inward, that nothing else needs to be accounted for, that the system adjusts and continues. That picture feels stable. It almost works. But something resists it. Because removing that much motion is not like letting go of a drifting object. It is more like stopping a process that never stops on its own. The Earth does not carry that energy in one place. It is embedded in how the planet moves, how its mass distributes itself, how forces balance across it. Take it away, and the balance does not shift smoothly. It breaks. The uneven pull that had just begun to show now grows sharper. The side facing the Sun does not just feel more force. It begins to move differently than the rest of the planet. The oceans rise more noticeably toward that direction, no longer returning cleanly. The atmosphere thickens and stretches along the same line. From the ground, this is no longer subtle. The sky changes in a way that feels wrong. The Sun does not just appear larger, it holds a position that lingers too long, as if the familiar motion across the sky has slowed or distorted. Time, measured by light and shadow, no longer feels regular. The rotation of the Earth continues, but it no longer aligns cleanly with the inward motion. Forces begin to compete rather than cooperate. And the idea of a simple fall begins to fail. Because the Earth is not just moving toward the Sun, it is being reshaped as it moves. Pulled unevenly, stretched, its internal motions no longer synchronized with the path it follows. The earlier picture of a clean descent cannot contain this. The fall is still happening, but it is no longer the defining feature. It is just one part of a system that has lost the condition that held it together. The Earth is not simply approaching the Sun. It is losing the state that allowed it to exist the way it did. The inward motion does not stop. It cannot. The distance continues to close, and with it, the pull grows stronger. But the Earth no longer carries itself as a single, stable body moving along a path. It is being pulled apart in degrees. The side facing the Sun lifts more noticeably now. Oceans that once followed the Moon in quiet tides begin to gather in a fixed direction, no longer returning to where they came from. Shorelines lose their shape. Water stretches, not as a wave, but as a slow, persistent rise that does not settle. The atmosphere follows, drawn into a longer form. Air thickens toward the sun-facing side, thinning elsewhere. Winds no longer circulate in loops that close. They extend, pulled along the same line, struggling to return. From the surface, the change becomes difficult to ignore. The sky no longer behaves as a cycle. The Sun does not travel cleanly from horizon to horizon. Its position holds, shifts unevenly, then drifts again in a way that feels detached from the rotation beneath your feet. Time itself feels distorted. The ground still turns, but what it turns through has changed. The alignment between rotation and orbit, once so precise that it defined days and years, no longer exists. One continues, the other is gone. And without that pairing, the familiar structure of time unravels. It would be easy to think this is still about falling. The Earth is closer, the pull is stronger, the approach continues. That idea has not disappeared. But it no longer explains what is happening on the planet. Because the forces now shaping the Earth are not only pulling it inward, they are pulling it unevenly, continuously, without the balancing motion that once redistributed that stress across the entire body. The stretching deepens. Beneath the surface, the solid Earth does not remain perfectly rigid. Rock yields under pressure, slowly at first, then with increasing strain. The planet begins to deform, not visibly from a single point of view, but measurably across its entire structure. The difference between the near side and the far side grows. Heat begins to rise from within. Not from the Sun, not yet in a way that dominates, but from the internal friction of a body being distorted. Layers that once moved in long, stable cycles begin to shift against each other. Energy that had been held in equilibrium is forced into motion again, but in directions that do not settle. Volcanic activity intensifies. The crust fractures in places where it once held. Not all at once, not in a single global break, but in a pattern that spreads, driven by stress that no longer distributes evenly. The earlier idea of a simple inward path returns for a moment. The Earth is still heading toward the Sun. That remains true. The distance continues to close. But now that path feels almost secondary. Because what defines this stage is not where the Earth is going, but what it is becoming while it goes. The planet is no longer behaving as a stable sphere moving through space. It is a body under continuous strain, changing shape, redistributing mass, losing the balance that once allowed it to move without tearing itself apart. And the closer it moves, the less room there is for that strain to remain contained. The fall continues. But the Earth that is falling is no longer the same. The approach does not end with impact. It changes what the Earth is before it can arrive. The distance is now small enough that the difference in pull across the planet is no longer something that can be absorbed. The side facing the sun is drawn forward with a force that the far side cannot match. What was once a slight stretching becomes a persistent distortion. The planet elongates. Not smoothly, not cleanly, but enough that the idea of a perfect sphere no longer applies. The oceans have already shifted, the atmosphere has already stretched, and now the solid body follows. Rock, under this kind of difference, does not hold its shape indefinitely. It yields, slowly, then more completely. From the surface, the horizon itself begins to feel uncertain. The ground does not break in a single motion, but it no longer behaves as a continuous, stable plane. Regions rise and sink in response to forces that do not balance. The sense of standing on something fixed begins to fade. The sun fills a larger portion of the sky now, no longer distant enough to ignore. Its presence dominates not just visually, but physically. Heat begins to matter in a way it did not before. Temperatures rise unevenly, first on the side facing it, then spreading as the atmosphere struggles to redistribute that energy. The inward motion is still there. The Earth is still moving closer. But what is moving is no longer a planet in the sense it once was. The rotation continues, though it has lost its role. It no longer defines day and night in any meaningful way. The uneven pull disrupts the timing, stretches the cycle, and in places, nearly holds one side in prolonged exposure while the other lingers in shadow. The idea of Earth as a system that cycles, balances, and returns begins to dissolve. There is no return here. The forces do not reverse. The distortions do not settle back into symmetry. Each moment carries forward what the last has already changed. It becomes possible to look back briefly to the earlier thought, that the Earth would simply fall toward the sun, that this was the outcome. That idea is not wrong, but it is no longer sufficient. Because the object that was expected to fall intact is no longer intact, the motion inward has transformed it. The removal of that sideways movement did not just change its path. It removed the condition that allowed the planet to remain what it was while moving at all. What remains is a body under continuous transformation, drawn forward, stretched, heated, losing the structure that once defined it. The Earth is still approaching the sun. But the Earth, as it was known, is no longer what is approaching. The motion that once kept the Earth in place was never something visible. It did not announce itself. It did not feel like motion at all. It was simply there, constant, unnoticed, holding everything in a state that appeared stable. When it disappeared, nothing immediate replaced it. There was no single event that marked the change as complete. Instead, each moment carried forward what had already been set in motion. The inward pull, the uneven stretching, the slow loss of balance, each one following from the last without pause. By the time the sun fills the sky, by the time the ground no longer behaves as something solid and continuous, the sequence is already far beyond the point where it could have been understood as a simple fall. The path inward was only the beginning. What defined the outcome was how every layer of the planet responded once the condition that held it together was gone. The oceans did not return. The atmosphere did not settle. The surface did not remain fixed. Each part changed in response to a force that no longer balanced against anything else. And those changes did not happen independently. Each one shaped the next. The Earth that moved through space as a stable world depended on that constant sideways motion. Not as a detail, not as an added feature, but as something woven into how it existed at all. Without it, the planet did not simply go somewhere else. It became something else along the way. Something is missing. And for a moment, nothing reacts. The Earth is still where it was. The sun holds its place. No sound, no rupture, no visible change. If you were standing on the surface, you would not feel anything at all. Which is exactly what makes it wrong. Because something that has never stopped has stopped. Not forward motion, not rotation, not anything you would normally call movement. Something else. Something that was always there, but never felt like motion in the first place. The Earth has stopped missing the sun. At first, that does not mean anything. The sky looks the same. The light does not shift. The horizon does not tilt. Everything continues as if nothing has happened. But the stillness is not stability. It is the absence of a condition. And that condition has been holding everything together. The Earth is still under the sun's pull, exactly as before. Gravity has not weakened. It has not changed direction. It has not paused. It continues, silent and constant, pulling inward. That has always been true. So why has nothing happened yet? Because until now, that pull never decided the outcome. Something else always interrupted it. Not by pushing away, not by resisting, but by making sure the fall never completed. The Earth has always been falling. That is not a metaphor. Every second, the planet moves inward. There is no moment where gravity switches off, no moment where the pull relaxes. It is continuous, absolute, always present. And yet the Earth never arrives. Because something else has always been happening at the same time. A motion that does not look like escape. A motion that does not feel like motion. Sideways. Constant, uninterrupted, just enough. The Earth falls inward, but before the fall can complete, it has already moved out of the way. Again. And again. And again. The fall never stops. It just never finishes. From the surface, none of this is visible. The sun rises and sets. Seasons repeat. The sky cycles in patterns so regular they feel permanent. It feels like rest. It feels like stability. It feels like nothing is happening. But that stability depends on something that never pauses. Now it is paused. And nothing has replaced it. At first, the system does not react. There is no immediate collapse, no visible drop, no sudden acceleration. The Earth does not lurch forward. The sun does not rush closer. Everything holds. Which makes the next idea feel almost too simple. If the motion that prevents the fall is gone, then the fall should complete. The Earth should begin to move directly inward. No curve, no orbit, just descent. Gravity pulls, nothing diverts it, nothing offsets it. The path is clear. For a moment, this explanation feels complete. It explains everything. It feels correct. Remove the sideways motion, and the Earth falls into the sun. There is nothing left to question. And that is exactly why it is dangerous. At first, nothing resists that idea. The Earth begins to move inward. Not dramatically, not in a sudden plunge. There is no visible drop in the first moments, no line you can point to and say, this is where it started. It is quieter than that. A direction that was always present is no longer being avoided. The Earth begins to follow it. From a distance, the change looks clean. The long arc around the sun straightens into something simpler. The curve softens. The motion redirects. The path becomes more direct. a fall. It fits. Gravity pulls inward. There is no sideways motion left to miss the sun, no mechanism to delay the approach, no hidden force to intervene. The Earth is falling. And for a while, everything agrees with that picture. The inward motion builds slowly. At first, you would not notice it without measuring. The sun does not jump in the sky. The days do not suddenly shorten. The change is gradual, controlled, almost careful. But it is there. The distance begins to close. And as it does, the logic strengthens. Gravity increases as distance decreases. That is expected. That is what gravity does. The closer the Earth moves, the stronger the pull becomes. So the motion accelerates. Again, it fits. You could watch this unfold and feel confident that nothing more needs to be explained. Remove sideways motion. The Earth falls inward. Everything that follows is just consequence. Even from the surface, small signs begin to appear. The cycle of the sky shifts, not dramatically, but enough to disturb repetition. The sun lingers slightly longer in certain positions. The timing of familiar patterns drifts. Seasons begin to compress, not abruptly but subtly, as if the system is tightening. Still orderly. Still understandable. Still consistent with the idea of a fall. You could live through this phase and never question the model. Because it works. Because it explains what you see. Because nothing contradicts it. And that is the moment it becomes stable. Not because it is correct, but because it is sufficient. The Earth is falling toward the sun. That is the explanation. And for a time, it holds completely. But something in that picture is too clean. The Earth is not a point. It is not a simple object moving along a line. It carries oceans, atmosphere, rotation, internal structure, heat, pressure, motion layered on motion. It exists as a system, not as a particle. And that system has not been asked to respond yet. The fall assumes simplicity. Reality does not. At first, the difference is almost invisible. The Earth continues inward. The sun grows fractionally larger. The acceleration continues to match expectation. The model still holds. But the motion is no longer uniform across the planet. It never was. That just did not matter before. Now it does. The side facing the sun is slightly closer. The side facing away is slightly farther. The difference is small, but it is not zero. And gravity does not treat them the same. The near side feels more pull. The far side feels less. And for the first time, the Earth is not being moved as a single balanced body. It is being pulled unevenly. At first, nothing breaks. The system absorbs it. The oceans adjust. The atmosphere shifts. Internal forces redistribute. Everything compensates just enough to maintain the illusion of stability. The fall continues. The model still works. The Earth is falling. But now there is something inside that model that does not belong. A difference that does not cancel. A pull that does not distribute evenly. A condition that was never part of the simple explanation. And it does not go away. It grows. The fall continues. The Earth moves inward. Gravity strengthens. Everything still appears to follow the same explanation. And yet the system is no longer behaving as one thing. The difference across the planet is no longer small enough to ignore. The near side is pulled more. The far side is pulled less. That difference was always there. But before, it was being constantly redistributed. Now, it is not. The Earth is not just falling. It is being stretched as it falls. At first, the change is subtle. The oceans respond before anything else. Water does not resist shape easily. It moves, slowly, almost reluctantly, but it moves. The side facing the sun begins to gather more mass, not as a wave, not as a surge, but as a shift that does not reverse cleanly. The atmosphere follows. Air thickens slightly toward the direction of the pole. Circulation patterns begin to distort. Winds stretch. Paths that once closed into loops begin to extend. Still, nothing breaks. The fall continues. And the explanation still tries to hold. The Earth is falling toward the sun. Everything else is just a side effect. But that is no longer true. Because the fall is not happening uniformly. And once that condition is gone, the model changes completely. The Earth is not behaving like a single object moving inward. It is behaving like a system being pulled apart. That was never part of the original explanation. The original explanation assumes something simple. A body, a path, a direction. But the Earth is not simple. And gravity does not act on it simply. The inward motion is still there. But it is no longer the defining process. Because what matters now is not where the Earth is going. It is how the Earth is changing as it goes. The idea of a clean fall begins to fail. Not gradually, not through small corrections, but all at once when the system can no longer be treated as one thing. The Earth is not just moving toward the sun. Different parts of the Earth are moving differently. And once that begins, the original model collapses. Not because gravity is wrong, not because the direction is wrong, but because the assumption behind it is wrong. The Earth was never just falling. It was always being held together while it fell. And that condition is gone. Now the fall is not a path. It is a breakdown. Once that unity is gone, nothing returns to balance. The inward motion continues, but it is no longer clean. From the surface, the change becomes harder to ignore. At first, it was only patterns drifting, subtle shifts in timing, slight misalignments in cycles. Now it becomes physical. The sky no longer behaves like a cycle. The sun does not travel cleanly from one horizon to the other. It slows, it lingers, it shifts unevenly, as if the path it follows is no longer tied to the turning of the Earth beneath you. Time, measured by light and shadow, begins to lose its rhythm. The ground still rotates. But what that rotation means has changed. Before, rotation and orbit worked together. One defined the day, the other defined the year. They formed a system that repeated. Now, one continues. The other is gone. And without that pairing, repetition breaks. The oceans no longer return. Water gathers toward the sun-facing side, slowly but persistently. Tides do not rise and fall in cycles anymore. They rise and hold, then rise further. The coastline does not recover its shape. It shifts. and keeps shifting. The atmosphere stretches with it. Air thickens toward one direction, thinning in others. Winds no longer circulate, they extend. Patterns that once closed now drift outward, unable to complete themselves. You would feel it. Not as a single event, but as something that no longer settles. The inward pull strengthens, but it does not arrive evenly. The side facing the sun is drawn more strongly forward. The far side cannot match it. That difference grows. And now the Earth begins to change shape. Not suddenly, not violently, but persistently. The oceans rise more noticeably toward the sun. The atmosphere follows, extending along the same direction. The solid Earth begins to yield, slowly at first, then with increasing strain. The planet is no longer a stable sphere. It is becoming elongated. From the surface, the horizon no longer feels fixed. It does not collapse, but it does not hold its shape cleanly either. Regions shift, subtle at first, then less so. The sense of standing on something constant begins to weaken. Beneath that surface, deeper changes begin. The interior of the planet was never still. It moved in slow, controlled cycles. Heat transferred, pressure balanced. Layers shifted against each other in patterns that repeated over long timescales. Now those patterns are forced out of alignment. Stress builds. Not in one place. Everywhere. Rock does not break immediately. It resists. It bends. It holds. But it does not hold forever. The difference in pull across the planet forces layers to move in ways they were never meant to. Internal motion accelerates. Friction increases. Energy that was once stable is forced into new paths. Heat rises from within, not from the sun, from the Earth itself. Volcanic activity intensifies. The crust fractures in places that had remained stable for millions of years. Not all at once, not as a single rupture, but as a spreading response to a system that can no longer distribute force evenly. And still, the inward motion continues. The Earth is closer now. The sun fills more of the sky. The pull is stronger. But that is no longer the defining change. Because what defines this stage is not where the Earth is going. It is what the Earth can no longer remain. The planet is not falling as a single body. It is being reshaped as it falls. And that process does not stabilize. It accelerates,